All right, I'm here with Sam. He took first place at today's Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. Sam, what are you running?
I'm playing Spright.
And why Spright?
It's probably just the deck this format I'm the most comfortable with. That's why I'm saying.
All right, let's see the deck.
All right. So this has become pretty standard. I'm playing 3 Nimble Beaver. I also like playing 2 Angler. This way, if you draw it, it's not dead. So that way you can still send it off Sprend. It's good so you can, like, if you normal summon Beaver, you can summon Angler off of it so that, you know, if it comes down to it, you have a better chance of drawing a live card off your top deck so you can draw a second Beaver.
Do you ever get screwed off a draw an Angler?
I think I did draw an Angler once, but this did not come up. But it's good to know that, like, if you can still play and you draw Angler, you can summon Swap Frog off Gigantic and then bounce it back and then discard the Angler off Swap Frog. So you have options even if it's in your hand for sure. But it is still a level 2, so if you normal it, you know, you can still special all your Spright monsters.
Right.
So, I played 2 Swap Frog. There's definitely an argument to play 3. A lot of times it's like really awkward if you end on like Elf, like Toad Red or something like that, and you don't want to tribute, like you don't want to use your Toad, but you also don't want to tribute your Elf if they activate something at the beginning of main phase 1, so you could like standby phase Toad summon a 3rd swap. So there's arguments for that, but I don't feel like it's a good card to draw now, and so that's why I decided to play 2. It was a lot different when Ronin Toad was legal.
Gotcha.
Okay, for the Spright monsters, it's like incredibly
The standard Spright
incredibly standard. 3 blue, 3 jet. 1 red, 1 carrot. I am playing Pixies. This did win me a game against Dinomorphia today for exact lethal after he activated Rexstrom effect. So, I don't know. Card's obviously pretty good. All right. Now I'm about to show a bunch of cards that would be Bestial cards if I had them. Ash is still pretty good, I feel like for locals and things like that. It's probably not good if you're playing as just Tier Elements all day, but it still covers lots of other stuff like Exo Sister, Flunderies, Spright too. So it's still a solid card. 3 Bestial cards if I had them.
Which ones would you be running?
I think it's probably, what is it? The normal race is like 3 Magnamut and like either
one Druid Swarm.
Either 1 Druid Swarm or you play 2 True Druid Swarm and then 1. So you either play 4 or 6. I guess in this deck you could probably just play 4 and cut the Called By that I'm playing. I actually really like this card. It came up a couple of times today. A lot of times your opponent special summons on your turn, like against Dinomorphia, they summoned Rexstrom on my turn, and then because like you can't impermanent because they wait till you play. So I think Ghost Mortar is actually pretty solid right now. So now we're into the spell cards. Triple Prosperity. I think if you're playing regular Spright, there's certain cards you really have to see. And like you really want to see your Anglers, or not Anglers, you really want to see your Beavers, you really want to see Blues, Jets, and sometimes you really need to see like Evenly Matched or Dark Ruler. And so I think Prosperity is pretty necessary.
Do you ever find yourself banishing a card from your extra deck you needed later?
Today it didn't happen. Against Flunderies, I actually banished 6 on turn 1, and then I went through my extra deck and then banished the last 3 cards. So I actually resolved this twice, banishing 9 total cards once today, and so I would say today did not come up, but it definitely could. All right, other spell cards, obviously 3 starter, 1 smashers. I'm not playing Double Cross in the main. I think it's probably fine to side, but I didn't think my inboards needed it. And this is my favorite card in the entire deck, and my favorite reason to play Spright. It's Triple Enemy Controller.
Okay.
This card is so good. It dodges Imperm, it dodges Veiler. It dodged Skill Drain for me today when I activated Carrot, and they flipped Skill Drain on me, and I dodged that and took a Rexstrom. It just feels like, when you're playing in the mirror too, it feels insanely good. You can like snatch an Elf, or you can, if the Elf is negated, you can snatch a Toad. This card is just, if you expect to play against anything that has level 2s or link 2s or rank 2s you can take, it just feels so good. Also, just taking your opponent's monsters and then linking them off if they have some kind of floodgate effect, like what's the Flunderies one? Impin. Yeah. Like I did that today too, and it felt great. So I love this card. Would never play it less than 3 because I like stealing opponent's cards. 2 Triple Tactics. I'd probably play 3, especially if you are playing as Tier Elements. Then Triple Tactics is incredibly strong right now because Havness and all of the Ishizu cards and Orange Light. So I mean, this card is pretty good, and people are playing regular hand traps. They're not super impactful against Spright, and then so you just combo anyway and then rip a card out of their hand. Usually that's game. I'm playing Called By. I might consider playing the third talents, but at the same time, if you draw multiple talents, it is actually pretty incredibly bad. So Columbine could still be pretty solid.
Gotcha.
Last hand traps, triple imperm. Still pretty good. You know, imperm's always been a solid card. So yeah, that's my main deck. 40 cards on the dot. Should we do side deck or extra?
Let's do extra first.
Okay, sure. All right, basic stuff, triple elf. I know some people cut this. I think there's nothing more impactful. There's not really any other level or rank two that you could play that's probably more impactful than third elf, because a lot of times on prosperity, you're banishing one, and then you're certainly going to need the second one. Pretty much every game you're resolving 2 elf unless your opponent just scoops it up on their first turn. So yeah, I do think 3 elf's necessary.
Other than the prosperity, did you ever need 3 elf today?
Today I didn't, but I think we could definitely end up in some game states or some mirrors possibly where 3 would come up even without prosperity. But I think if you are playing prosperity, I would not. I would probably play 3, but then again, I guess you could banish a different card off prosperity too. But
right.
it's hard for me to imagine that something being more impactful than the third elf, because when you do need it, you really need it. And then yeah, for other link monsters, I played 1 Nightmare Cerberus and 1 Phoenix. These are both probably cards you banish on prosperity every time. Cerberus is. This card could definitely be something else. Phoenix, I still like because it's just sometimes you really need to like check for a certain card, or if you have to pass back, you can't kill your opponent. My opponent, one game I was playing Flunderies and he left map up, and it's just something you just don't want to risk them starting off their main phase 1 activating map effect. So I would definitely keep Phoenix, but Cerberus is debatable. For the other Spright card, I play Sprint. This card is it makes making Toad viable again. So this card is really good because now normal summon Beaver makes Elf plus Toad by sending Angler off this. The other effect of this card is actually pretty good. I haven't resolved it yet in this version of the deck, but I did in the Runic. But the effect to like when you summon a monster to attach material from Xyz to bounce is also pretty solid.
I've seen some people running 2 Sprint. Do you like 1, or do you think 2 might be good?
Yeah, I guess you honestly you could play it maybe instead of the second Cerberus. I just don't. I feel like if you're playing 2, you really value the second effect of this card. Yeah, I definitely can see it because there's really nothing else you could send, because after you send Angler once, there's really nothing else I can think of you'd send in Spright, like on a follow-up turn. But it might be nice to to bounce a card back for a second one. That could be, you're right, it could be better than Cerberus here. The only other card you could play here that I might like would be maybe Unicorn. But yeah, either one could be a good option. Dark. I love Dark. Great, we played the mirror and I took the jet, and it just feels incredible when you take when you're playing a mirror match, or when you're playing against Tearlament and you take their Merly, and then you overlay for Gigantic with their monster after you search off the jet. It's just, yeah, I love this card so much. It also can force out weird battle phase shenanigans because it does add you a card, adds you a Spright monster basically when it's sent to the graveyard too. So it's got some cool applications. More standard stuff, double Gigantic for the Xyz. Totally awesome. Like I said, we can make Toad again now, which is great. Onigimaru, I think this card is necessary, unlike Cerberus. There's lots of game states where you want to banish a monster or get rid of a monster, and the other thing about this is you have to discard a card for Cerberus, and it does destroy, so it could trigger certain effects. And this card also plays around things like Impin, because you can put Soul Sweeper in defense and then resolve its effect to get rid of Impin, whereas Cerberus you never would. What else here? Cat Shark. This also won me a couple games today. A lot of people were not expecting being able to get the Gigantic up to 64 and push for game immediately. And yeah, so actually this card could either be this, or it could be maybe number 29, Mannequin Cat. So it could be either one, but I do like Cat Shark. And then it's the standard Zeus package, a Sky Cav, countered Zeus. I think this is probably the main reason to play this version of the deck over something like Runic. You obviously have no access to Zeus. And still being able to make Sky Cav downward Zeus, it's still very strong. Especially against if any kind of rogue matchup, Zeus is still a powerhouse card. Especially it's very strong. They negate your Gigantic and then you overlay for downward Zeus. It's incredibly strong. So that's the extra deck.
Gotcha. Let's see inside.
Let's see it. All right. All right, okay, this one might be a little weird. We got 3 D shifter.
Right.
It didn't come up today because I didn't play against like anything super graveyard heavy. But the theory behind it is I also play Spright Gamma Burst in the side. And so the theory behind D-Shifter and Spright is that it can be kind of awkward when you resolve D-Shifter because you actually can't really set up anything. Like, you're not making Toad. I don't play any other extra deck monsters that do anything in my opponent's turn. Like, I don't play Gen Buster. So it's pretty much like you have to get to red or carrot, and that's all you'll have. So, and you can't make elf either and pass it back because your cards will be banished. But you can basically, it's very easy to kill your opponent if you get to jet at all. So like if your opponent thinks, oh, my opponent's playing Spright and they can't kill me after you de-shift them and they completely pass, so they don't want to like go super neg. At any point, if you get jet and you search Gamma Burst, pretty much 3 or 4 Spright monsters at that point is just game. And so you can just kill your opponent out of nowhere. A lot of people probably won't expect it. I'm playing Double Cross in the side. I didn't feel like it was worth the main deck spot because this card you really don't want to draw. It could be good to diversify your interaction if you're playing against maybe Tier Limit specifically, because this can also special summon from the graveyard. But yeah, this card it's all right. It's definitely in the all right category. Let's see, triple evenly matched. This card is just everyone evenly matched is just such an insanely broken card. It's not good against Spright specifically, but against everything else, I feel like evenly just puts in so much work. Flunderies, Tier Limit, Action Sister, a lot of work.
Everything that's not Spright.
Yeah, pretty much. Speaking of Flunderies, I'm playing 2 Lancia. This is very locals dependent. Obviously, Lancia is very bad against everything else, but I see a lot of Flunderies when I play in my area. This could be Droll, and that may cover other matchups too. My only reason I didn't play Droll is because if I get shifted by the Flunderies player, I can't resolve Droll, and it feels like really bad. So yeah, it could go either way, but I tried Lancia today. Then also for those decks, it's Dynamorphia, Flundery, stuff like that. Duster, Triple Dark Ruler. This is not good against Tier Limit, but it's good against both Flunderies and Spright. So I think Dark Ruler is still worth playing. And then Red Resonator. This card's cool because it's supposed to summon this one from your hand. So yeah, and it's a tuner. So
And it wins in time.
all right, that's my deck profile.
All right, do you have any shoutouts?
Just shout out the locals, man. It's a pretty good experience. We got a lot of other Spright players here. Always good to see more mirror matches.
All right, good to see you. Thanks, Sam.
Yep.